Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Exalted, the game where everyone is a bisexual god thing and physics don't matter. I am your storyteller. I'm Nevenka in the chat. It is my job to shepherd this shit show to its thrilling conclusion. A few words about Exalted that are particularly true for tonight's session. This game is not D&D. It is not Malifaux. It is not what we will call family friendly, shall we say. The villains in Exalted have cruelty matched only by their imagination, and they do terrible, terrible shit. This may come up tonight. There will be harsh language, if you didn't get it from my opening monologue here. Some adult themes, and if I know this party, graphic depictions of violence. So please be aware of that. There may also be situations that would make some people uncomfortable. We try to keep everything really bad off screen, but particularly heinous crimes may be mentioned as having happened off sides. So if you are watching, please keep that in mind. If you need to leave for the sake of your own sanity, please do so. Your mental health is more important than catching the story, and you can always catch up later. That said, thank you for joining us. Obviously, I have co-opted Hannah's channel. Hannah, the green-haired anime girl, is not here. Hannah, the VTuber, is here and grinning, which, she might as well enjoy while it lasts. So let's go around and introduce everybody real quick. As I said, I'm the storyteller. I will be running this game. This is my first time running Exalted, so if you're in the chat, you're like, these rules are wrong. Yes, they probably are. No, I'm not going to fix them during the session. Feel free to post in Discord or even message me privately if you think I've made some sort of terrible misstep. Please do not put it in the chat. I will absolutely die on that hill. So characters, these fine dynasts with their long life expectancy. Let's go around and introduce everybody. Let's start with s1Ses2, who owns this channel.
Hello everyone, I am Hannah in chat, and I am playing s1Ses2, who is a wood-aspected librarian who is also able to mess with fae shit.
Thank you for that exceptionally cogent description. Millicene Valley, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Alyssa. Yes, I'm playing Millicene Valley. Yeah, she's very excited for the party that's about to happen, but also very nervous for very good reasons. So,
I vanished my window for a second. Sorry. Thank you, Volley. It'll all be fine. Be excited. Don't be nervous. Nervous won't help you survive. Arabella.
Hello everyone, I am K Moxie in the chat, and I am playing Arabella. She is a blood-aspected dragon of a different color, a necromancer, and usually doesn't kill children.
And consumer of trashy television.
No one needs to know that.
Everyone needs to know that. Ivory Dusk.
Sorry, technology wasn't cooperating with me briefly. I am the Starless Sath, if you see me in chat. I am playing Ivory Dusk, who is an air-aspected warrior courtesan who is currently probably trying not to have a breakdown.
And likely failing miserably, because welcome to Exalted. And last but certainly not least, Fireclaw's Tana.
Hi, I'm Inabemitsu in the chat. I am Fire Kalsana, the fire aspected cat girl dancer who likes to curl up on roofs and stay away from mirrors.
Always a good life decision in Exalted. Yes, for those who don't know, just a side benefit, Mitsu here is also a streamer, and you can get the link to their channel in our chat. And I highly suggest you go and check it out. Okay. So, when we last left our plucky band of heroes, you were invited to a party by a man with a super pompous name and clearly no ulterior motive whatsoever. And in what will go down as a terrible decision, you have all accepted the invitation. We left you all preparing for the party. Some of this has happened offsides. Siche and Vale in particular went to visit a very particular tailor in order to get kitted out and are now wearing a king's ransom in dresses made out of stuff you can't get anymore because the civilization that created them was destroyed like 1,000 years ago. So they're going to be extra classy. Everybody else has been free to make their own preparations. So let me start by asking if anyone has anything particular they think the GM should know that they've prepared or tried to track down, or anything else you've done before this party that may raise your social impact, raise your life expectancy, notify your next of kin, that sort of thing. If anyone would like to ask questions, make rolls, etc., now is the time.
I think my next kin's going to be there, so it's fine.
I think Siche would have altered the dress a little bit. Not so much altered as added to. Using her craft gossamer to add living flowers on the skirts part of it that kind of like flutter off and trail off and then disappear.
Yeah, okay, you'll get a stunt to your social rolls after the party. Anybody else? You're just gonna go to this party and see what happens.
That's pretty much Tana's plan.
Ivory would love to inform her next of kin, but unfortunately they seem to be missing. Did they ever come home?
No.
That's a week.
Yes.
I guess I'll tell Lisetta. She's been helping me anyway.
Lisetta is not going with you to this party.
Oh no, 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 no.
Yeah, Lisetta has sworn off parties.
Arabella will collect some volunteer spirits to enhance her coat.
You're making your dress out of ghosts?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you'll get a chance to describe it when we go to the party, and if it is supremely creepy and weird, you will also get a stunt. All right. Last words. Going once. Going twice. Time passes. The week passes. People make their preparations, contemplate the excesses of all mortality and the futility of all existence. Go to the tailor. Eat breakfast. Consider whether to make pacts with dark gods. You know, the usual stuff in Exalted. What do you do in a morning? But as with all terrible things, this one must eventually come a cropper. And the day of the party has come around. Now, your invitations say the party starts at sundown and runs till sun up. This is the Midsummer Mask. It is on the shortest night of the year. So sundown to sunrise is, if you're going for like the last crossing of the horizon to the first crossing, is probably only about 7 hours. You know, all of you are either from society or have had enough contact with it, or at least read enough about it in the case of Valley, to know that importance is established by how late you are. So with that said, is the group coming together or are you coming separately? Are you presenting a united front?
I don't imagine that would be terribly wise, because then it would make us a group. And if we are supposed to be doing this surreptitiously, people will wonder how we know each other.
On the one hand, that's true. On the other hand, wisdom left 3 or 4 decisions ago.
Tana is. Oh, I'm not muted. Okay. Tana will probably just head on ahead like usual, just because she doesn't know the rest of these strange people that well, and just stake out the place.
You did establish communal meeting points. Did you guys want to discuss a strategy for coming to this party, for how you want to deal with this party, anything like that? Or are you gonna go by guess and by God here?
I actually vote to go as a group. If nothing else, because we would be presenting that united front, it would be, you know, whether, you know, how we know each other or not, it's, we are together, we are from all walks of life, but that doesn't matter.
Well, on hand, it will draw attention, which is good and bad. If we're trying to get information, people trying to figure out why we're together might provide that sort of in. Arabella is relatively neutral on the subject. She's happy to go in alone, but she can see the benefit of going in together.
Ivory does want to draw as little attention to herself as possible. There are too many people that she thinks might recognize her, and she does not want to be recognized.
To that point, even if some of us go in together, it doesn't necessarily mean we all have to go in together. We could have
Also
some people
a fair point.
draw attention, and a few people who can be a little more surreptitious.
It's true. Sicha and Valley were seen very much together prior to this in an event that has become the talk of the Great Forks Society since Valley decided to demonstrate her strength, speed, and pitching skills on the dynast Sabaline Saris, who, incidentally, is the one whose house you are going to.
My bad.
So that's why you wanted to eat me at.
But yeah, I agree that being split up is probably a better idea. Like, a couple people go in a group and 1 or 2 people go scout.
Sounds like you have Tana going up ahead. Ivory Dusk is probably going to wait till there's enough people to blend in. You could have the other 3 go together, or Sicha and Valley goes pair and Arabella go separate, since, you know, her ego is going to have to go through the door single file.
I mean, Arabella is probably going to draw enough attention as it is that she doesn't necessarily need the group to make that happen.
So it's up to Sicha and Valley if you guys want to go together or go separate.
I mean, I'm good with going together.
Same.
Be the most adorable couple at the ball.
Yes, but can you dance? Okay,
Yeah.
so we have a pair and 3 solos. Sicha and Valley, are you getting there early, late, or on time?
I think Valley would follow Sija just because she would know or have a better idea of these kind of things.
Let's see. You were saying that lateness was a measure of stature.
Of course.
So I'd say late, but not like super late. So enough to kind of be like, hey, we're actually important, but we're also not as important as these people.
Fair enough. Arabella, early, late, or on time? That's if I didn't know.
Late. By at least 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's more or less what I expected. Ivory?
To be honest, either early or on time. There are less people there, but it also says I'm a nobody.
Probably on time then. Early, there won't be enough people there for you to hide.
Fair. Okay.
Tana?
Probably early, and I want to try to see if I can't convince them that I'm basically entertainment for the evening.
Okay.
Considering the way she's dressed in her normal dancer silks with some upgraded shiny bits on there to make her stand out a bit more. She may even do a small little dance just to prove that, hey, she knows what she's doing here.
Okay, so on the one hand, you don't actually have social skills other than performance. So lying to them is going to be extremely difficult. On the other hand, if you get there early and simply go up on stage, no one's going to question you.
She's going to be on stage.
All right, so Tana arrives early. So we'll start with you. Sorry, I didn't want to blow out everybody's eardrums. You are the first to arrive at Sabaline House. It is a huge manor in the heart of one of Great Forks' wealthier districts. It's not all the way up the hill where the palaces of the God Kings are. Sabaline, the House Sabaline is a cadet house. They're not, one of the great dynasties. So they're not entitled to quite as much rank and privilege, pomp and circumstance. But they are clearly loaded. This is less a house and more a compound. It is walled. The wall is ornamental. It's not meant to keep out a siege, but it's about 10 feet high. It has been rebuilt recently because it looks like somebody went through it with a thresher at some point. It has since been rebuilt out of sandstone.
Mm-hmm.
And the house behind it is all marble and this brightly colored glass. The glass isn't normal. It's almost gem-like, and it is red and yellow and purple and blue and green. It is a riot of colors, like a stained glass window. Mm-hmm. Because you have an invitation, the gate guards let you by without so much as questioning you. And this is because the gate guards are not human. Attending the gate, there are two spindly construct-looking things. They're roughly humanoid. They're about 7.5 feet tall and cadaverously slender. They are plated in the same glass as the house. Both of them are a particular shade of this kind of teal cerulean azure color that shifts with the light. But you can see past these delicate plates, you can see clockwork, mechanisms of some kind. You don't have enough familiarity with first stage artifice to know exactly what they are, but they are extremely graceful and somehow unnerving. And they have these long fingers, one too many joints, pointed tips, and you can see apertures in the forearms where blades probably fold out. These are guardian creatures of some kind. But because you have an invitation, they don't even query you. If you have the letter, you get let in. If you don't, undoubtedly something terrible happens to you. So they let you in the grounds. There are people milling about out here, people who arrived early for the party but don't want to come in early. Mostly small knots. Everybody's dressed to the nines. Some in traditional imperial garb, heavy silks and robes and wooden sandals. Some in more Western styles. There's one guy who looks almost piratical. He's got this long buff jacket out of some kind of behemoth hide and a green silk shirt and weapons you've never seen before on his hips. They look like fire wands, but they're not. And he is chatting. You okay there, Sija?
I'm in danger.
You are. And he is chatting with a tall, red-haired woman in a green gown who has these elaborate finger gauntlets on one hand. They're styled to look like talons. And these two stand out because while power and ego and everything clings to everybody in this courtyard, those two don't seem concerned. They have the easy, relaxed manner of someone who could kill everybody they see. But as you proceed past these people, the man in the green shirt and the jacket, or the coat, looks at you, looks away, looks back, and his eyes narrow a little bit. But he doesn't say anything. He just sort of nods slowly. And you can't shake the feeling that you've seen this guy somewhere. But you don't recognize him. There's something about him, but you can't place his face. So you get past the grounds and you get into the wing of Sabline House where the party's being held. And inside it is just an opulent nightmare. Somehow, through some combination of magic and artifice, the interior of this huge ballroom, 50 meters on a side, has been transformed into an oasis. The floor is flagged sandstone with lapis accents. There are actually dunes along the walls and in the corners. And in the center, there is a pool that's probably 50 or 60 feet across, and you cannot see the bottom. It is more green than blue and still like glass. There are palm trees and other tropical plants clustered around it. The ceiling has been transformed by sorcery to this cloudless blue sky. It might be night outside, but in here it's daylight. And it is warm and dry, and it smells like you're outside. It smells like sand and plants and so on and so forth. Your costume fits right in, actually. It is not uncomfortable here, but it is very summer. And the false sun in the sky is headed rapidly towards one edge of the ceiling. Presumably when it gets there and vanishes, night will fall, and that will signify that the party is on. Meanwhile, there are musicians tuning up at one end of the room. There's a few people milling about, setting out tables with chairs, drinks, etc. It's mostly servant staff and entertainment right now. Far into the room from you, on what is essentially a miniature pyramid with the top hacked off, a little ziggurat, like a dais, there is a throne, and it deserves the capital letter because it appears to be in the shape of a tentacle made out of basalt. And on it is a woman. And she is heart-stoppingly lovely, and there's something very wrong about her. She has golden skin that is only partly hidden by the gown she's chosen, which is purple. It is this sort of diaphanous purple. It clings to her like smoke. And in fact may be partly vapor because the way it swirls is not normal. Her hair is lapis lazuli blue, and her eyes are the same shade as the pool. She has this expression of like Lord of all I survey. It's just this overweening arrogance. And one hand is resting on some kind of blue silk-wrapped parcel, about 4 feet long, and the other holds a paintbrush. And she's idly scrawling in the air with the paintbrush, and it's leaving trails of azure light behind it that fade after a little while as she practices this calligraphy. And it's lovely. She's, very skilled, steady hand. And she's got nestled in her hair a silver, like a silver circlet, a crown almost, that is studded with cerulean gems. This then must be your hostess, the Cerulean Marcus. She has 2 people in cloaks and hoods, one to either side of her chair. There, you can see a flash of green in one hood, and the hands, depending from the cloak of the other person, appear to be scaled and clawed. The door herald is a living person. He is not entirely human. Tall, well-muscled, like deeply tanned and bronzed skin. Everybody stretch. From the waist down, he's in like these baggy trousers made of red silk with golden tracery on them. Nothing from the waist up. And his eyes are literally 2 points of fire in otherwise empty sockets. And he looks at you inquisitively as you come in. Should I announce you?
You know who I am?
I do not, but you have an invitation. Therefore, you are entitled to announcement. If you would like to tell me your name and station, I can announce you to the party. Unless, of course, you are here amongst the staff, in which case you may be on your way.
Oh, how to answer this. I appreciate your offer there. I do not need any announcement, but I do humbly appreciate it.
As you will, madam.
Go
ahead.
I do have a question. Where is the stage? I would like to perform.
He points along the wall to your left, about halfway down. There is as he points, the sand rolls aside, and this black stone plinth comes up, size and shape of a theater stage.
Thank you very much.
You are most welcome.
Tana's gonna give a polite bow, because that's what you do in high society. And while she makes her way towards the plinth, she's gonna just continue to look around with mostly at the nice pool there that's in the middle of the room. Are there any figures?
You went muted again there.
I'm sorry. What was the last thing you caught me say?
Are there any figures?
Yeah, are there any figures around this pool that might catch Tana's eye in terms of maybe even nobler people, or people that he might want us to take a look at, or anything?
Yes, actually. There are two. One is a woman in a very brief green dress. She's got black hair. It's all piled up and pinned in place. And anyone who's been in Great Forks at all would recognize her as Lizy Sieka. She is a noble woman, particular to this city. It was, in fact, her party that started the chain of massacres that kind of depopulated the social scene for a while. She has apparently got on very well. She looks like she's gotten 10 years younger and an extra 3 inches of leg. She is clearly no worse for wear for being sort of ostracized by society for a little while. And while her dress does tend toward the scandalous, it and the matching shoes and her jewelry bespeak great wealth and expensive tailoring. And she is standing there chatting to a woman in red, in an almost uniform-like outfit. It's a black or a red double jacket with a double row of buttons, brass buttons, that are buttoned closed. Red jodhpurs, black boots, and she has a red cloak that is trimmed with gold on it, and a long wealth of blonde hair and a permanently sour expression. This is Sabeline Saris, the owner of this house, who apparently has recovered from her face door intersection recently. She was also present at the last party. They were clearly in cahoots then, but you'd have to get a lot closer to eavesdrop. Right now, it looks as though they're just chatting socially. Lizy has a glass of wine in one hand. Saris has her anger and hatred for the entire world there's a few hangers on, people coming by to say hello and bask in their reflected glory, but nobody stays very long. And they don't appear to be, like sharpening knives for cutting throats or anything. But what they are chatting about, especially at someone else's party, might be of interest. Still, this could just be a social meeting. You could observe and see if they continue to interface. Otherwise, like I said, it's mostly staff right now. It is interesting that both the lady of the house and Liza Siaka have elected to arrive early, considering what that means for their status in society. Everyone else is either a patrician of no special note, staff, or some visiting dignitary that means nothing to you.
The guy that gave me the little squint eye there, how close is he towards the plinth that rose up?
The one who noticed you coming in, or the one who offered to announce you?
The one who noticed me coming in.
He's still outside.
Oh, okay. I went that idea.
Yeah, he will be in when the party starts.
Okay. Do I have time to just mingle around a bit before just going up on stage to do my
absolutely
body given duty?
There's not actually anyone for you to perform for, honestly. No one who would matter. So yeah, you can absolutely just kind of go around the party and be seen, make small talk. There's not really going to be anything interesting unless you try to approach the pair. But yes, you can absolutely socialize while you are waiting for your fellows.
Okay, I think I will go ahead and just, now that I know where the plinth is, I think I'm going to try to get myself closer towards the pair just to see if I can eavesdrop a bit.
Okay. So you're going to do it kind of slow, kind of making a route through other people.
She's basically going to walk. She's already got her beeline towards where she wants to go. She's going to basically say hi to the people she passes, maybe even give them a nice little brush with the fluffy tail, say, I'll be on later.
Awesome. She is a stripper working the room.
She keeps her clothes on. She keeps her clothes on.
Well, right. They have to pay for that.
Yes, exactly.
But you work the room looking for who's going to be interested later. Yeah, no. Okay,
exactly.
I got you. All right. So while you're doing that, let's attend to Ivory's Ivory's entrance. So I believe Ivory is up next. By the time Ivory arrives, there are 4 of those spindly clockwork nightmares on the gate instead of 2. A few more people in the courtyard, a few less. Some have moved on. The man in the buff jacket is nowhere to be seen. His red-headed companion is nowhere to be seen. There is a, let's call it a delegation. There are six people, 3 men, 3 women, all in matching black. The men are in suits of a uniform cut, black, silver piping, blue buttons. The 3 women appear to all be in dresses made entirely out of raven feathers, like full-length ball gowns. No hoops, nothing. They're very slinky. None of them appear to be armed. All of them are very pretty for mortals. And perhaps most distressingly, they all have the same face. All 3 men match, all 3 women match. And they are standing 3 and 3 on either side of what looks like a casket, only bigger. Like 9-ish feet long, 1.5 meters wide, meter deep. So a casket if you're trying to fit a cave troll. And they're not saying anything. They're not talking to anyone. They do not appear to be led by anyone. If they have a guest with them, the guest is in the casket.
That's mildly distressing. I guess I will take note of that and not much point stopping. I mean, I guess I could try to skirt. Does the casket seem ornamented in any way?
How do you mean?
Writing, decorations, art, pretty
Not
things.
any writing you can read.
Ooh. Wow. Okay, that's fun.
It does, however, have a a hearthstone slot on either side of it, and both of them are filled. Meaning the casket is an artifact of some kind.
Okay. That's definitely notable. Again, just sort of, I guess, rubbernecking. Is there anyone else that seems to be of note out in the courtyard?
There is no, not really.
Not really.
There's a few dynasts. There's a man dressed as an immaculate monk, young man, first deployment. Yeah, he's real out of place.
Poor bastard.
Because he's wearing like white traditional immaculate monk's garb. So it's like the short-waisted jacket and the pants tucked into the shoes.
Oh my goodness.
And he's like a rabbit trying to watch too many wolves. And he is accompanied by a much calmer looking woman in like a black one-piece bodysuit, who is clearly armed because she has another silk-wrapped parcel. You'll see a lot of these tonight. I brought my weapon, but it's too gauche to bring it out. But hers is about 7.5 foot long. Big spear looking thing, or presumably a spear. It could be a glaive or a naginata. And both of them have the peculiar pale eyes and like that breath of cold around them that screams, I am an heir aspect of good breeding. Like really good breeding.
I recognize those kinds of people.
Yeah. They're both obviously immaculates. They look at you, looking at them. Their eyes narrow, but they say nothing.
Good, because I could probably kick their ass. Maybe not the girl. The guy, definitely. I have a few tricks up my sleeve.
So do I.
Yeah, I know. I guess then it would be head in and see who's inside. For the record, Ivory has changed her hair color. She would have told the party this. Her hair is currently raven black instead of platinum silver like it normally is. It matches very well with the it's not stupendously ornate or fancy. It's still nice. It's well put together, but it's just a dress kimono, effectively.
Understated.
Yes, and she is so gauche, or however it's properly pronounced. Her sword is out and belted at her waist around the obi. She's taking no chances. I'm not sure where else to hide it on a kimono manually, so that was why I figured out.
You get a few looks. There's a few sneers for being so insecure that you would have to carry a weapon. That obviously, yeah, they're looking down on you, but nobody says anything.
I mean,
At the door, you are greeted by the same elemental blooded herald. You've been around the block a couple of times and hung out with sorcerers long enough to know that this guy's probably half Ifrit.
Okay.
Which means if the shit hits the fan, he's going to be throwing fire everywhere.
Good to know.
May I
assuming-
announce you?
No, thank you.
As you will. And he waves you into the party.
Okay.
You see Tana talking to Lizzie, or Tana getting towards talking to Lizzie and Saris.
Oh, good. I recognize those faces.
You do not recognize the woman on the front.
I don't.
Nope.
I would have to get much closer to recognize that brush, though, because that would be. The
Oh
thing
no!
that I
Even
would-
from across the room, you recognize the brush.
So it's her brush, but
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
her.
And her color and her coloration, like she has the skin and the curves to be Hadia, but this is not Hadia. This woman is taller. The hair and eyes are wrong.
Oh.
The facial expression is, the planes of her face have changed. Like if this is Hadia, then this is about 25 talents of jade worth of cosmetic sorcery. So she might as well be a different person. Otherwise, she's, a close cousin, but not quite right at all.
Suspicion is there that it's still the same person, unless the brush has passed to a new owner.
Do you stop at the head of the staircase that leads down into the party while you're looking at everything?
Briefly. Not super long enough to assess and then continue going.
It's long enough.
Of course it is.
The woman on the throne looks up at you, tilts her head, and her eyes narrow. And you feel something pass you by. And then she sketches a very ornate hello in Old Realm and lets it fade away and goes back to her conversation. You don't know if you've been made or not. You've been noticed. That's not necessarily the same thing.
I've been noticed. If I'd have come here with my silver hair, I probably would have been recognized.
True.
Or she's recognized me anyway and is just being polite because that's what you do at a party with your mortal enemies. And she probably doesn't even think I'm an enemy. So who else is around? Since I'm not going to go near that.
The calendarist has arrived.
Oh, good.
Antaldirith, in a purple and lavender and pastel pink floral print formal kimono. She is wearing formal dynastic garb.
Okay.
She has her hair pinned up with a butterfly pin. And she's, kind of wandering around looking at everything. She looks kind of spacey. Like she's clearly there enough to be functional. But it's kind of the same look that Opal gets on good days, where she's with it, but not quite with it.
That doesn't bode well.
Could just be having an off day.
Yeah, that's true. Or drugs.
Which are available in quantity here. I take it
Sorry.
I take it you are going to also mingle and not draw attention to yourself.
That is the attempt that is going to be made, yes.
Okay.
Kind of watch the incoming area, listen for names, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me hop back to Tana real quick, and then we will do Siegen Valley coming in. So, Tana, you have maneuvered through the slowly thickening crowd to where you are within earshot of the two. But they are speaking Flame Tongue, which is a language you do not have. You recognize its cadence, but you can't parse the words. Are you like...
She's still gonna mingle around just to see if they may end up speaking something that she might understand. Yeah, there's really not much I can do about not understanding a language.
Yeah. All right. You are kind of orbiting them, talking to others while trying to make it not obvious that you are eavesdropping.
Mm-hmm.
And the man that gave you the eye outside is in your path. Do you want to stop and talk to him?
Words. Tana will take her eyes off the two for a moment since she can't understand them. And she's going to approach the guy. Like, do I know you, good sir?
He gives you this look. He's got a kind of an amused smirk going. His eyes are a peculiar shade of yellow-green. He tilts his head. You know, I think you might. The trouble is, I can't place you either. And I never forget a face. Were you at the last one of these soirees that our lovely hostess attended? He manages to put an amazing amount of scorn into lovely hostess.
Nay, I was not part of this soiree at all. I was indisposed.
I'm sure. Well, I can't think of where else I might have met you. I haven't been in Great Forks since the last one of these parties. And I seriously doubt that I met you abroad. A pity. He looks you up and down. I'm sure that getting to know you would be fascinating. May I have your name?
And I'm sure getting to know you would be even more wonderful. Maybe
Flattery
after the
will
party.
get you everywhere. Perhaps. Or during if you get bored.
Of course, some of these parties can go over long. Well, my name is Tana.
He stops. I see.
And yours, good sir?
He actually stops to think for a second.
Please don't say the butcher.
My name is Righteous Devil. Or at least my name that you could pronounce. I have other sobriquets, but none that I would like to use here. He looks you up and down. So this is where you ended up. My. You know the lover is still a tizzy at your escape.
And Tana's face goes incredibly white.
Oh, relax. I'm not from her court. I play for her team. I'm not from her town. You have nothing to fear from me.
I see. So, what brings you to this party then?
Same as you. I suspect I got an invitation. I don't know why. In point of fact, I thought that after my little performance at the last gathering, I would stop getting these sorts of things, but here I am. I have a bit of a score to settle with some of these people, and I relish the opportunity too much to turn it down. But no, I'm not here on business. This is purely a social call. I guess I did meet you abroad. He shrugs a shoulder. I have passed through the Lover's Court a time or two. I am something of a wanderer. I've been everywhere at some point. I remember you now.
I would assume I would remember him too.
Probably. You remember a man in brass armor with weapons that threw verdant thunderbolts, laughing as he was killing people. You've seen him fight somewhere. And he was good. He was blindingly fast with these first age relics that he uses. And he left the dead and the dying behind him over and over and over and over again. But he was never part of the Lover's Court. He didn't have business with her personally. He's a mercenary. Someone in her court hired him for something. He came, did the job, enjoyed the sights, and left again.
Mm-hmm. Just pure social here, huh?
I doubt I will get the opportunity to even old grudges. So yes, purely social. Now, if you were to start something, I would be happy to help you finish it. He looks
Perhaps.
over at the pair that you were sort of approaching. Kind of raises an eyebrow, makes a little pointing motion.
Anna's gonna give an affirmative nod.
I speak flame tongue. Would you like me to translate?
What's it gonna cost me?
Oh, the pleasure of your company is more than enough. He actually seems to believe that when he says it. Like, he has been pleasant and amiable the whole time. It's not like he's hiding the ball. He seems like a genuinely pleasant guy, except for the, fearsome reputation.
And him casually name dropping the lover in front of me. Very well. And if it would not be too much trouble to ask, and
Oh, not at all. Not at all. He brings his fingers together and kind of cracks them. And as he cracks them, your ears pop. And then every time they speak in Flame Tongue, there's this whispered narration in his voice that is a running translation.
oh, wonderful! I have righteous translation in my head.
Yes, you do.
Lovely.
The two are currently talking about their gifts. Because you're dropping into the middle of a sentence, and so it's flame tongue, flame tongue, flame tongue, flame tongue, flame tongue. That arrogant bitch had better be appreciative of how much effort I put in to getting that woman here.
I wonder what women they're talking about.
The other one responds, "Why did you even bother? She's no use to anyone anymore." "Yes, I know. That's why I'm bringing her as a gift. I can't do anything with it anymore, and it will amuse her. It looks good. It's a gift no one else has, and it costs me nothing." "Oh, yes. I see your point." I unfortunately had to pick a gift at the last minute. I was out shopping for one, and then some upstart twit threw me through a door. I had to go home with my reputation and my dignity in tatters. The woman in red shakes her head slowly. And I just know those two are going to be here. This is the only event that could have had them going to a tailor like Olim for that. She's going to come and she's going to smirk and laugh, and everyone else is going to smirk and laugh. And I'm going to have to sit here and bite my tongue, because the last time I raised my hand at a party like this, your party, in fact, I got my ass kicked from one end of the ballroom to the other. And people are going to remember that. So all I can do is sit here and smile and pretend to be the gracious hostess and make plans to peel our fingernails off with a pair of pliers one of these nights.
Tana's eyes get a bit wide, looking at a righteous devil. She tries to keep her voice quiet. Those two are entertaining.
One is a cast iron heartless bitch, and the other one would have to rise several levels to get to the first. Be careful with those two. They are dangerous. They may not look it right now, and they certainly don't sound it. But of all the people in this room, other than the woman on the throne herself, those two are probably the most likely to make trouble for you down the road. Tread lightly, Miss Tana.
I will.
If you'll excuse me, I need to go figure out where my date went to.
See me after the party, and I'll pay you back.
Oh, I'm sure I will. And he kind of fucks off. While you were having this conversation, the party has... The false sun has crossed the edge of the ceiling, and night has fallen. The star field above you is like none that you've ever seen. It is far too dense and far too colorful, and they're hanging in it spots of red that are bigger and brighter and more commanding of attention. No constellations that you recognize, but people are starting to come in. No one of any note yet, not really, but that brings us to Zicha and Vali. How do you two arrive?
I think Valley would be just at Om's shop just prior to the event, getting the last hand touches done to her makeup and such. Maybe waiting for Siege to show up as well.
Yeah, I imagine they probably would have met up at Olim's shop to get their makeup and hair and everything done. So yeah, arriving at the party, I would say probably side by side.
Agreed.
Yeah, CJ would make sure it was side by side, even if Vali was like, I'll just like kind of hang back a little bit. It's like, no, you're right here with me.
Yeah, Valley's too much of a fish out of water for this kind of thing to go by herself, so yeah.
All right. Well, Vali is the first person who might recognize what she's looking at the gate. The clockwork sentries that are plated in gem-colored glass are actually something that you have run into before. in ruins in the east in the jungle. You know enough about them to know that they were created during the First Age. These are Clockwork Soldiers. They were initially devised by a solar named Calbax. And Calbax created them to be more reliable guards than a human. And they were as much art as artifice, First Age clockwork, magical glass-like material called adamant, each powered with a hearthstone. It made them functionally immune to normal weapons, and even the weapons of the mighty, weapons like you all carry, didn't. They take some getting through in order to hurt one. And they had some ability to manipulate essence of their own, not like an Exalt, but enough to learn kind of specific evocations, charms. They were artifacts that could cast their own evocations, essentially. They were initially devised as bodyguards and guardians for monsters and such when the owners weren't there. During the usurpation, they were also deployed against Dragonbloods and civilians by the Solars, as the Solars went mad. Because anyone who isn't a Dynas or a Celestial Exalt didn't have a weapon that could hurt them. So you could plunk 2 or 3 of these down, and they could slaughter hundreds or thousands of people because they don't sleep, they don't slow down, they don't run out of power. And where this Cerulean Marcus or Sarah Savaline would have gotten for boggles the mind. You have never seen one intact. And these are clearly not pieced together from parts. Like, these 4 are stock, like the day they were assembled. Not a mark on them.
I was just gonna study them for a little bit. Like, how did they manage to get 4 perfectly good ones here? It doesn't make much sense. But then again, she's also wearing really nice stuff from worms that died decades ago.
Actually, they're worms that died millennia ago.
Oh, yeah, millennia.
Yes, for reference, these 2 worthies coming to the party, their outfits combined are the same as the yearly takings of a moderately large criminal syndicate. It is literally, their outfits are literally worth their combined weight in jade. But by now, the courtyard is mostly emptied out. People are going into the party. And you can hear music. Musicians have finished tuning up. They started to play. There's this susurrus of conversation. The 6 people in black with the giant ass casket, they're still outside. They are now attended by just a tiny girl, 5 foot and bare feet. Very slender, very pale skin, a beastkin of some kind. She's got what look like cat ears and a little flowing black dress, ballerina slippers with ribbons that go up her calves to her knees, and vertically slitted pupils. And she's got what looks like a cane that she doesn't look like she really needs. It is almost certainly a weapon of some kind. And with her is a large, powerfully built figure with an oddly asymmetrical face. Like it was rebuilt, but not quite right. And his black hair is kind of stringy. He's been crammed into a nice suit, but it doesn't suit him. And he looks like he's on the verge of like ripping, hulking out of it and murdering everybody pretty much at all times. He sees you two and he leers, but it's not the leer of someone who is feeling lust or sexual attraction. No. This is kind of the look of someone who's really hungry, seeing food. And when he smiles, all of his teeth come to points. And he doesn't bother to hide his sword. It is a jagged thing of black iron as wide as your hand, about 4 feet long. And he just carries it in one hand. Thing's got to be 60 pounds. Negligible to him. And he is fish belly pale. His eyes are the dead color of a Weimaraner dog's. His nails are black, not lacquered. They're always black. And there is something deeply, deeply disquieting about him as you look at him. Yes, chat. The cat girl is the more dangerous of the two. But he looks like he's gonna move towards you, and then the little beast girl looks up at him, and it takes some looking up. He's pretty tall, and she is not. And then it reaches out, puts a hand on his shoulder, and he starts to move forward anyway, and you just see your hand tighten. And eventually he gets this pained look, and he stops, and she just pulls him back. Let's go. It says something to him in some debased Old Realm dialect, but the gist of it is no, bad. We talked about this. But that's who's outside. The pair of you come to the door side by side. Are you also arm in arm?
Yes. even if Valley was like, things, stuff, CJ would be like,
oh. Would Volley like to register an opinion?
That. No, I can see her completely being dragged along by CJ.
Fantastic. All right. So the two of you come into the party. It is in full swing now. There are 50 or 60 people here. No, there's actually a lot more. It looks like 50 or 60 at first because you're used to the size of a normal party. But this place is huge. There's probably better than 100. Tana is on stage, instantly recognizable, even at this distance. And there's this place is awash in power players. Zicha, you've been in Great Forks for a while. Volley, you've passed through a few times. You can see the Calendarist General, Antaldirith, who is now at least talking to somebody, though she, still seems a little out of it. There is Liza Sieka talking to the woman that Valley yeeted through a door, who have since been joined by a third party, another woman. This one with the haughty, cruel expression of the lifetime nobility. And her formal kimono is very showcasing, shall we say. Because it stops about here-ish, all the way across. A useful visual reference for anyone who's played it is she's got a dress like Lulu from Final Fantasy X. It stops halfway after cleavage. It's very heavy, very ornate below that, but the top quarter of her is just on display. And you know that is Estienne Featherell, who is something of a power in Great Forks. She was a major personality at the Temple of Reverent Whispers, which is the #1 temple whorehouse in the city. She has since largely disappeared from it and has been spending more and more time with Liza Sieka. But she was somebody once and probably still is again, or probably will be again. Elsewhere, you can see the man in the buff jacket and the woman in green with the red hair. Your hostess is at the far end of the room, still on her throne. For Zicha, halfway down the room, on the right, looking resplendent in a uniform of the s1Ses legions, is your brother. And he has brought with him 2 s1Ses minions, also in Legion uniforms. And they're right at home here. This is a debauch party. There's drugs on every table. Alcohol is flowing freely. Everyone is of low morals and lower character here. It feels like home to them. Volley, there is no one in particular that you recognize that has not already been mentioned. Though you do see a contingent of people who at least you recognize by trait. They have the Mon of the Guild, which is the big kind of criminal and trafficking organization, and probably the people who buy most of your finds, all pinned to their clothing. There are 4 of them here tonight. 3 look completely normal, 2 men and a woman. Average height, average build, average appearance, well-made but average clothing. If you looked up ordinary in a dictionary, you'd find them. The 4th one makes up for all of them. She is about 6'4", black full plate armor, crown, like a high crown of silver and jet, and she has a sword. And the sword is almost as tall as she is, and it appears to be made out of a single piece of ruby with something black at its heart, and it is glowing. And the 4 of them are chatting with a lovely woman whose skin is like black porcelain, like charcoal black, big green eyes, pretty black silk dress, no hair. Her head seems just slightly too big for her body. She is cute rather than pretty, but she exudes confidence and strength. She does not appear to be armed, but she does have an umbrella with her. Would anyone know who she is? No, none of you will know who she is. Arabella's not here yet. But as you stop at the top of the stairs and the Ifrit herald comes up, ladies, good evening. May I announce you?
Yes, please.
And may I have your names?
I am s1Ses2.
And you, madam?
Maxine Valley.
Very well. And he turns to the party and in a voice that echoes from the ceiling announces, Lady s1Ses2 and her escort Melusine Valley. Everyone turns to look at you. And I mean everyone. And there's a moment of appreciation. If you would like to stunt coming down the stairs, if you would like to make presence or socialize or even performance roles, please tell me what you're doing. Otherwise, I will have the crowd react as they see you.
Yeah, before they start to descend, Sichu would kind of lean over to Vali and just be like, walk tall, walk strong. You know, they can smell fear. do not show it. Yeah, arm in arm, going down the stairs, if Vali is okay with that.
Of course.
The flowers that she has attached to her dress and kind of trail off a little bit. At the first step down, they kind of flow out and shoot down and go down the stairs in a wave.
You brought your own carpet?
Yes.
I love it.
Vali, are you doing anything in particular, or are you just going along with this?
She's just gonna walk tall and strong because she has no idea if she should be scared or not. And she probably doesn't know any better anyways.
Okay. That's all right. Olim has handled it for you. As you start to go and the flowers roll down the steps, the script in the edging of your outfit begins to move, change. And it becomes High Old Realm, the formal language of kings. And it starts telling a story about you, about a treasure hunter, about all the things you've found, all the enemies you've bested, the many places you've been. And essentially establishing you as worthy to wear the thing that you are wearing. What is impressive is how the spell or the spellcaster knew all of this in order to weave it into what's happening. Or is it just reading you as you wear it? And you get this kind of nimbus around you. In all of the shades of your aspect colors. So it's orange and red and yellow and ash gray and black. And where it hits the wave of flowers, the flowers catch fire and then turn into smoke in the color of the flowers and then roll away. So the two of you are descending through these plumes. And at the base of the stairs, it shuts off. There is a wave of whispers, starting from the base of the stair, just out through the room. As people take notice, and they are talking about both of you equally. A lot of what you're hearing is, who the hell are they? What are they doing here? What is she wearing? Where did she get that? How did she get that? Can we kill her and take it? Because that would finance our entire family for like a century. You know, and these are not poor people talking. As you get to the base of the stairs, you're kind of in a bubble. Because people clearly want to come ask. Very badly. But no one has the guts, because you two are unknown quantities. And your display of wealth or power or influence, however you got your outfits, has been noticed and has bought you a measure of immunity to the crowd. And as you two are reaching the stairs, Arabella is just coming in the gate. The courtyard has not changed noticeably, except that you have seen those 6 clone things before.
Oh.
You're not sure where. You've seen them in the underworld somewhere. But they're so ordinary, they don't really stick in your head.
I see. Is that coffin still around?
Yes, it very much is.
Not doing anything interesting?
But the 2 people who were standing with it, the hunched nightmare thing and the little cat girl, are still there. And you immediately recognize the hunched one with the asymmetrical face as a liminal. And you can draw the logical conclusion that anything that can bring him into line is even more powerful. And so that means the little cat girl is probably a Death Knight.
Okay. Cool. I will ignore them and walk towards the party.
Excellent. Brilliant fact. Okay. You go towards the party. You are just seeing everyone like zooming in on Vali and Sija, who have made quite the impression. And in fact, as they're stepping away from the stairs, their bubble is going with them a little bit. Even the doorman looks impressed. And the hostess at the far end of the room, the Cerulean Marcus, is actually standing up now to get a better look. She is curious. And as she stands, the water in the pool ripples once. Just once. Like a bubble breaking. Or something shifting under the surface. The doorman eventually tears his gaze away. Dutifully impressed. Turns back to you. Only to be gobsmacked by...
All right. Forgive me if I stumble. Describing these kinds of things is not my forte, but we will give it a shot. Arabella is wearing calf-high boots with a heel, as well as skin-tight pants, black, and a long-sleeve shirt that has these kind of swirling cutouts that show pale skin beneath. She's also wearing gloves, which are black with the end and clawed nails that are made of bone. They also have the cutouts. They appear to be decorative. They're not actually weapons. Purely for effect. They appear to be too fragile to be of much use. However, all of that is slightly... Oh, and excuse me. And a tiara of sorts that appears to be raven feathers, also made of bone. As well as perhaps some antler? I don't know. It's all been worked together in a circlet. Now, all of that being said, it's a little hard to get a look at that part of her outfit because the long black coat she is wearing is at times obscuring the rest of her.
Is it screaming?
No, but it is whispering. It's hard to define the edges of the coat. kind of moves and shifts like it's trying to reach for Shadow or reach for her, but never quite gets where it's going. And every once in a while, it's dark. There are darker shadows that kind of swirl against the surface. Every once in a while, you see something vaguely hand-shaped, almost pressing against, for lack of a better word, cloth.
Thanks, Ed.
And she stares imperiously over the party.
Madam, may I announce you?
You may.
May I have your name?
Arabella Nemon.
No, you put Nem on first, right?
My bad.
Okay, I was making sure that it was an accident, not intentional.
Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the heirs of House Nemon, Nemon Arabella. Again. This time the whispering is more pointed. It appears that at least a few people know of you, certainly. So it's less, what is she wearing? And more, what is she wearing? And who is she? Or, oh shit, her. You hear Blood Dragon whispered a few times. You also recognize only a few people here. You two recognize the guild. You recognize the outfit of the morticians on a man from Sejan, because they are your contemporaries. They are necromancers, though most of them are not exalted, so they have to do it with ritual and practice and so on and so forth, rather than just being able to do it. You see the woman talking to the guild representatives, the black porcelain one with the green eyes and the umbrella. Roll lore. Roll intelligence plus lore. Should be 8 dice. You managed to get 11 successes on 8 dice.
That's a
Who would
roll.
you do that? What did you sacrifice? To whom?
Okay,
Many people.
you weren't supposed to pass this roll. The threshold was 10. You made 11, so this is... Hey, guys, this is where the plan starts to go off the rails. That is the Death Lord Princess Magnificent. One of the 13 Death Lords. She is the only one that is... And because of 11 successes, you know everything there is to know about her. You know that she used to be the great power in Great Forks. She was run out of the city by the 3 that ruled the city. She was made vulnerable by them. She's the only Death Lord who can die, though it still has to be accomplished a certain way. And she has since fallen from grace amongst the other Death Lords. She has no holdings, no knights, no war strider, no armies, no real position of any kind that anyone knows of. She is, in fact, not supposed to be able to leave the underworld, and yet here she is, socializing. Death Lords, as a rule, don't socialize. And on that note, I believe we are going to take our break, guys. When we return, the party is all here. Things can now go hideously wrong. Bye, everyone.
Be back soon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Exalted, where the party has gone to a party that might end in a party wipe. I am Venkliana in the chat. I am the storyteller. I am very much trying to get this all to go in the same direction. We'll see how successful I am. With me is my lovely cast of ill-fated dynasts. If you are new to this channel, I am obviously not Hanapiel. Hanapiel is the one with s1Ses2 under her name. Wave. Thank you. This is Exalted 3rd Edition, a tabletop role-playing game. It happens every other week here, interspersed with Malifaux, our other tabletop role-playing game full of bad decisions. For those who are new, this is a game that involves adult language, adult themes, adult violence, and adults. It is quite the cast of both heroes and villains, and it may go some very dark places. Exalted tends to do that. We try to use restraint on stream, keep everything else off sides, but things may be mentioned that are uncomfortable to obscene. And there will be graphic depictions of violence, plenty of foul language, that sort of thing. So if at any point you are bothered and need to leave for the sake of your sanity, please do so. Your mental health is more important than watching our game. And any of us can always catch you up on Discord later. And we'll be happy to do so. Yes, when last we left the party, they had gone to a party. Arabella had just entered to much consternation after Sicha and Valley entered to much awe and excitement. But I believe Arabella's entrance was not yet quite done. So I will pass to Arabella.
Yes, so Arabella will, after the announcement and everything, she will descend to the party. As she does so, well, first of all, wherever she moves seems slightly darker than anywhere else in the room. It's hard to figure out exactly why. It doesn't seem like the lights are any dimmer. It's just they don't seem as bright where she stands or walks. And she as she descends, she the dress, or not the dress, but the coat and her outfit in general starts to tear in places. It appears to be bloody gashes, though her skin is untouched underneath, and as the blood drips down, it evaporates before it hits the ground, and then the wound of the dress will seal back up to start over again. And the whispering from her coat gets slightly louder. There's the occasional whimper, distant screams that are hard to hear, but can be made out if you listen closely enough.
Well, that's not creepy or anything. This is cause for some concern. You are very much noticed by the party. And the party. In particular, Princess Magnificent casts an eye towards you. Necromancy is rare. Rarer still at a dynastic function. It's almost unheard of. And so she studies you with frank, pointed interest. And as you reach the bottom of the stairs, she considers for a second. And then raises a hand to wave you over.
I will join her as though it is my due.
Wow. Okay. That's ballsy. My apologies. I don't know why I'm yawning. As you're headed over there, the herald booms out again. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lady Manosk Peridote. If Sicha and Valley caused a stir, and Arabella caused uncomfortable whispers, Peridote causes a splash. Anyone who has lore that includes early Imperial history, massacres, villains, demons, or first age artifacts, please feel free to roll it now. It is intelligence plus lore. I know that will include Sicha and Vali. I don't know if that will include the others. Your lore areas are defined by you. So, Arabella, I don't know if you have it. That is up to you.
What were the lore categories again?
First age artifacts, early Imperial history, rebellions, massacres, demons.
I could see massacres.
There you go. Then you can roll it.
I got 3.
I'm trying to remember how much I need to roll.
Intelligence plus lore. On your sheet, that's gonna be 7. 8. Your specialty applies. So it's dot roll space 8. Okay. Everyone who has the relevant lore category and got at least 2 successes. The name Manosk is one of those names that is reviled in the Empire. They used to be a dynastic house, and they rebelled against the Scarlet Empress. They rebelled against the throne, and somehow got their hands on an artifact called the Eye of Autochthon. And with it, they managed to mount a rebellion that got almost to the gates of the Imperial city itself before Manosk Viridian tried to use the Eye of Autochthon and ended up causing himself and his entire army to fall into the sky, never to be seen again. In the wake of this rebellion, this failed rebellion and the destruction of their army, the Empress's retaliation was to put the entire house to the sword. They killed everyone they could find, everyone they could get their hands on, struck them. Son of a bitch. They struck them from the rolls of the Imperial Ledger, blotted out their name, erased them from Imperial record, purged them from the history books as best they could. This is a house that does not exist anymore. And to take the name, even if it's false, is to paint an enormous target on yourself. Which means she's either an idiot or supremely powerful, or both. Minosk Peridot, as befits her name, has come in green. But her green, rather than silk or metal, is gems. It is, in fact, peridots. Thousands and thousands and thousands of peridots that have all been linked together vertically and horizontally to form a dress. And it clings to all of her. It's slit up one side. It falls to her ankles, where she's wearing understated, relatively speaking, heels. They're high, but they're not particularly ornamented, of green velvet with bases that look like silver, but when they catch the light, they coruscate through the entire rainbow. She is tall without being extraordinary. Curvy without being extraordinary. Her hair is this chestnut brown. She has high cheekbones, big eyes, small mouth, small nose. And a kind of not weathered look, but she's clearly spent a lot of time outside. She's sort of tanned. Her muscles she came by honestly. She's very pretty, but it's mortal. It's not some sort of supernaturally sculpted physique. It is human prettiness, and that actually makes it even more striking because she's clearly more than human. And for those of you who have spent time with Volley lately, especially Sicha, who has seen all of Volley several times over the past few days, they could be sisters. Same facial structure, the same hair color, the same eyes, the same way of walking. Not just sisters, but close sisters. Volley, you recognize it because it's like staring into a mirror that is only slightly warped.
Ellie is pretty much confused by this.
Fair enough. I would be too. As she comes down the stairs, she's sparkling. Like, constantly. She stops. She doesn't exactly strike a pose, but she definitely stops and lets herself be admired for a moment. Before looking around. And she sees Sicha and nods to her. Sees Arabella, nods to her. Sees Valley and just freezes. Just for a second. And then she's back to being all smiles and laughter and grace as she begins to mingle with the party, not coming to talk to Valley and Sicha. And her voice is not much different from Volley's either. It's the same timbre, the same pitch. It's like somebody tried to clone her, but did it badly. The details just aren't quite right. All right, so you are in the party. The party has begun. There are a great many guests to whom you may speak. This room is attached to Saddling House. So it is possible with stealth or artifice or trickery to kind of sneak off and explore and see what else is going on. If you are so inclined. You can socialize, you can mingle. You may also simply observe and wait and see what happens so that you can report back to Righteous Soul. You can just do your job. That is a perfectly acceptable thing to do in this case. What is everybody doing? Let's start with Ivory.
Start with me, huh? Did I notice the hostess saying hello to anyone else? Like she did to me?
Mm-mm.
Warring with internal terror, because she knows that brush, she's actually going to go and politely say hello back. She was addressed, so she feels that would be polite. If, such a thing is done. I suddenly am not sure if that's a thing.
Okay. So your plan is to, in fact, introduce yourself to the hostess. Sure. Let me cue them all up, and then I'll go around and do everybody's actions. Tana. What you doing?
I think you're muted, darling.
I have 2 mutes. Get back to me. I'm still thinking. I apologize.
That's fine. Sitcha?
After the commotion of the last 2 guests died down a little bit, Siche would probably have made a beeline to the hostess of the party. And she would have told Valley that, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go do this. You don't have to come with me if you don't want to.
So Valley's absolutely gonna follow.
Excellent.
You have a little duckling. Her name is Valley.
So yeah, she would have gone over, or rather, she'll go over and introduce the 2 of them. The appropriate bows and greetings and such. And a gift for the hostess, and she'll pluck one of the flowers from her dress and hand it over. Does she just, take it from her, or?
I'm just queuing it up. I'll get there. Valley?
Well, I mean, yes, Valley's gonna follow Teacher, of course. She doesn't really know anybody else other than possible sister, which she's just too confused by. So she's just gonna ignore it for now. The only other person she knows besides the rest of the party is Ceres. And she does feel a little bad for throwing her through a door, but at the same time it was deserved, so Just gonna see if there is any hostilities between the two.
So you're gonna follow along and then see what Saris makes of you. Okay, awesome. That this'll go well. Arabella.
Arabella is going to accept Princess Magnificent. Yes. Invitation to come over and socialize. She will give no indication that she has recognized who she is. Beyond probably important. And will kind of just talk shop if that's what comes up while observing the party and keeping an eye out for any family members or their reactions.
All right, and Tana.
Okay, before I get into this, intimacies will if somebody has an intimacy towards me, what does that allow me to do to them?
It means you can make them do things. Generally, when you're trying to convince somebody of something, if it would go against any of their intimacies, if it would go against any of their intimacies, their principles, you have to have an intimacy to lean on in order to make them do it anyway.
Mhm.
So, for example, if you've got a guard guarding a door and you want to see what's behind the door, and you try to convince him to leave, and he's got no intimacy towards you at all, he's not going to. But if you've created a countervailing intimacy, lust, for example, and you try to seduce him away, now you can make him do something, and you get your intimacy strength in bonus dice, which is 2 for minor, 3 for major, and 4 for defining. And he can spend willpower to lean on his intimacies to get dice to resist you, but usually they don't. So it allows you to interact socially.
So it's not too much to probably instill a performance with a lot of people to try to get information from them?
That's not an intimacy. Giving you information is not an intimacy. You would create an intimacy and then use that to leverage information.
Well, I have something that can, I think here. Oh.
I have your sheet open.
Oh, okay. Don't I have something that can create an intimacy with people?
Well, yes, and performance can do that too. But just having an intimacy to you doesn't mean you can't have an intimacy of is going to give me information. They have an intimacy of adoration or lust or possessiveness, and you play on that. You know, they'll give you information to impress you because they want to get in bed with you, or because you'll talk to them because they adore you and they're fangirling out.
Okay. Oh, this makes this a bit harder than I was thinking. I'm not used to all this. I apologize. I am, however, going to try to continue with my original thought. I'm going to use the music around to just keep my body in tune to let the people who are watching me, instead of paying attention to the others, just... Oh dear, I really don't know how to explain this.
No, you're doing fine. I think I see where you're going. You're doing okay. It's all right.
Go on.
You want them to be watching you.
I want them to be watching me. Pay attention to me. I am their focus.
Okay, so you are instilling an intimacy of fascination.
Mm-hmm. And either fascination or I really want to do something to that cat girl up there.
Yeah, lust is probably easier. It's really what you're rigged for.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are instilling the intimacy of lust. So I believe you have a charm that allows you to target groups.
I should. It's I don't think it's feeding the lustful soul.
No, that you need to power up first.
Mhm.
Oh no, feeding the lustful soul is how you power it up. So that's what you'll do now, and then you can use rapturous display.
Okay.
No, you are using you're using swaying bows arabesque.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Uh, okay, so you pay 4 motes to activate swaying bows arabesque. And then do you want to use an excellency? Do you want to add dice?
Yes, I'm going to use my performance excellent. The audience enthusing display to increase my dice.
Actually, the performance excellency adds successes.
Oh, successes. I'm getting used to this.
It's okay. You're fine. Most of them add dice. You would normally be correct. It is a weird one.
Okay.
So do you want to go for as many as you can?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want them to really be on me.
Okay. So you are spending a total of 10 motes. And you will roll your appearance plus performance, which is 10, plus 1 for dancing. So you will roll 11 dice and add 3 to your total successes at the end. So roll 11. Jesus. Okay. So you got 7 successes, and then you add 3 for 10. That beats the resolve of everyone in the room by an insane margin. Even amongst the circle, unless you want to invoke the red rule to not have it, anyone who is looking at the stage in the party is going to pick up an intimacy of lust towards Tana.
I will avoid the party on basis I don't want to cause any friction there. If that's,
it's not really a targeted effect, but the party can, because they are player characters, just say, "I don't want this." If you don't want it, it won't cause conflict. It doesn't compel you to do shit.
Okay.
I suspect that about half the party has it anyway. So yes, everyone who has seen you, which is over half the party, it is everyone who's relevant, has a minor intimacy of lust towards Tana, and you have picked up 10 hunger for your artifact.
Cool.
So you are powered up. You may immediately spend it if you have someone that you want to raise the intimacy on.
Can I hold it for now?
Yes, absolutely.
I will hold.
Okay. So Tana is performing. And I've got 3 of you headed towards the hostess, and Arabella headed towards the Death Lord. So let's do Arabella first. All right. You have strode over to the princess, one of the great powers of the underworld. She does not bow. You are not worth bowing to. But she does incline her head and shoulders slightly in a gesture of, I notice your existence and elect to let you live.
I'll return it slightly deeper. Possibly. Yeah, slightly deeper.
She smirks a little. Of all the things I expected to see at this party, a necromancer dynast, not amongst them. What brings you here? I know of you, Nemon Arabella. One of the graduates of the Underworld's own necromantic academy. The only dynast to ever make it through and go back. Oh, yes, I've heard of you. But I didn't expect to see you in Great Forks. I would have thought you'd be making a stir at home, ruining your family's plans, playing the games of Empire. No, you're here. Why? And bold as brass, I could see you hiding out. Certainly. But you come in with necromancy? You adorn yourself in it, make your dress from it? You're not hiding. You're flaunting.
Well, I am further refining my craft for a time before heading home. But I heard some old friends would be here and couldn't resist.
But Nemon Arabella, you don't have any friends. You were a loner even at the academy. Do you know who I am?
How stupid is it to try to lie to her? I do. I must say, I very much did not expect to see you here either.
Well, it is true what they say, you can't go home again. I was run out of this town hundreds of years ago. And my fortunes have fallen somewhat since then, and someone in my position has to seek allies where they can find them. I've been given, shall we say, a 3-day pass by the hostess of this party. It was the least I could do to put in an appearance. It's very difficult for one in my position to get away from the underworld.
I can only imagine.
No, I really don't think you can. It's all right. So tell me, little Nemon, what are your objectives here tonight? Like I said, I need to find allies in any place I can, and you have both a skill I value and a name I can use. So talk to me, young Miss Arabella, and tell me what you're doing here. We will put a pin in this conversation because this could take a while. This might be one we do off sides. It is during the party you had. And let's go to Sisha and Volley and Ivory. Ivory, you're gonna get there first by dint of being closer. So how do you approach? This is ball, your court.
Respectful distance. See if the hostess deigns to notice her again. Polite bow, if so, and then you greeted me. I thought it was only fair to return the greeting. Thank you for the generosity of hosting this party.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm merely the organizer. The hosts are House Sabeline, who are doing this no doubt to repair their tarnished image. You were not on my guest list.
And yet I have an invitation.
I'm sure you do. I wonder who it was that it was stolen from. There's always a few no-shows. But I would have thought that after our last little meeting and your last little journey, you'd never set foot in a party again.
It was a consideration. But there's no one here for you to send me back with.
My. So very sure of that, aren't you?
No. I'm sure you have tricks up your sleeve.
I don't need to trick. I could do it by main force. Or with a word, the same way I did last time. How was hell, by the way? She smiles. Ivory, ivory, ivory. Always playing above your station. Now look at you. Not even a patron to call you around. Well, thank you for coming and greeting me. And for at least livening up my evening. Do feel free to run along and mingle and chase what other objectives that I'm sure you have. Lady Sieko would be most delighted to see you, I'm sure. And Sabeline Saris needs another reminder of why she is only organizing this party. So do feel free to chat with them. And we can consider it an uneasy truce for the duration of this party. Of course, you put a hand over the line and I will chop it off. Or burn it off. How is your sister, anyway?
How are the girls you stole from us?
I didn't steal them. They came with me willingly, they did. And the others were given to me later. I stole nothing. And you know, for a former brigand who introduced herself to the house that you now cosset so closely, by trying to kill one of its premier members, you are on an awfully high horse, young lady. Might hold your tongue before somebody rips it out with burning pliers,
It'll grow back eventually.
No, it won't. You're not a solar.
Well,
I can show you where that happened. You are in the same house, you know. It's
I
just
know.
over here.
You mean they haven't redecorated?
Why would they?
Because it got trashed?
No, it got covered in blood. Difference.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. What it used to look like is neither here nor there. Run along. I have other guests to greet. Like these two fine young ladies. She looks over at Zichan Valley. Well, well. The s1Ses sorceress. And who's your lovely companion? You weren't on my guest list, but I have rather less cause to complain. Come. Introduce yourselves. I, as you have doubtless figured out by now, am the Cerulean Marcus.
Yes, CJ and, arm in arm with Valley would step forward. And she'll do her, bow, curtsy thing.
She does take the flower.
Shortly after she takes it, it kind of, fizzles out. Disappears. Since it wasn't, right next to, CJ.
She narrows her eyes at the spot where the flower used to be.
Oh, my apologies. Just a moment. She picks 2 more from her skirts. And, from a small vial, at her waist, she pulls out, enough gossamer to make them permanent. And, and then gives those to the hostess. And those ones remain.
She puts one in her hair. And the other one she kind of looks at and, it somehow balances it on her fingertip for a moment. And with her other hand, she takes the brush and she sketches what looks like the outline of a bell jar vase. And when she sketched it, she whispers, and there's a flash of essence. And suddenly it is in a bell jar vase. And she carefully puts it to one side. I will treasure them, Lady Sitcha. But please, who's your friend?
This is Melusine Valley. She is, making her debut today.
Melusine, you say? Not the name I expected. Starts the same, doesn't end there. Where did she find you? She looks you up and down. Silk from Denensor, High Ol's realm. But no name I recognize. No money, clearly out of sorts, out of your depth. What are you doing here, young miss? What has brought you to my party?
I was just gonna ponder for a moment on what to say. She's not exactly sure how much detail she should give in regards to her being there. And considering she's already on Sitcha's arm, she's like, I'm here with Miss Sitcha. I'm her, what's the word?
Date?
Date, escort, whatever.
Probably don't want to use the word escort in this town.
Oh, yeah, okay. A date then.
Yeah, escort is my job.
Well, and please be welcome. It is rare that I am honored by one such as the Lady s1Ses here. And anyone she considers interesting enough to bring is always welcome at my parties. Please do enjoy the festivities and come around to chat as you like. Lady s1Ses, I believe your brother is in attendance.
I did spot him, yes.
I see there's no love lost there. And Lady Valley, If you don't mind my saying, that woman who just entered, Minosk Peridot, she's more what I expected from you. I hate to pry, but do you two perhaps know each other?
Not that I'm aware of. I've mainly been on my own for the longest period of time. I don't remember ever meeting her.
No, I suppose you wouldn't. And, House Minosk is a fallen house, so... One of life's little mysteries, then, I suppose. Well, thank you for introducing yourselves. Do enjoy the party. And she will bow from the neck and kind of wave you on your way, dismissive without being particularly rude.
Yeah, CJ will do the very respectful bow, couple steps back, and then turn.
Kelly will kind of do the same thing, but not as well. Maybe tripping a little.
All right. So as you're all socializing or performing or chatting up a Death Lord, the herald booms again. The Doane of Passion's dying. The lady fell, and her companion, the butcher, and escort. And the little cat girl and the big liminal come in at the head of the double file of, for lack of a better word, clones, who are carrying this casket. Tana, this is the butcher, your butcher.
Tana's gonna disappear.
Like, is she leaving? Is she actually leaving the party entirely?
No, she's got stealth.
Dex plus stealth.
Dex plus stealth. That's 4 plus 5. That's 9.
That's pretty good. All right. You are pretty hidden. 5 successes. They will have to beat 5 on perception to notice you.
Okay.
He's only got like 6 dice, so you're probably okay. In fact, let me roll it real quick. Oh, yes, 7s. He has quarries.
That was not a name I wanted to see.
He does not spot you.
Oh, thank God.
You remain hidden. They come down the stairs in formation. And they go straight for the hostess. Not going around the pool. When they get to the edge of it, Fel leads, and everywhere her delicate little heels come down turns into ice. So she just carves a path across the water. And when they get to the other side, they deposit their bloody great casket thing. Well, Fel and the butcher get to the other side. The 6 with the casket stop in the middle of the pool, standing on the ice, which is somehow supporting their weight. Because it looks paper thin, isn't. And Fel turns to the hostess. A gift for the lady of the house. The hostess looks intrigued. Well, go on. Don't make me wait. Fel bows from the waist. and turns and gestures at the casket. And there's a surge of essence, and it begins to unfold. First crossways, and then in eighths, like a lotus flower, and it unfolds and unfolds and unfolds. And then something flips upright out of what's left of the superstructure. It is a tank, a cylinder. Vali would recognize this as a Genesis laboratory. They were used in the First Age to create life, artificial life. Working ones are rarer than rocks eggs, almost exclusively held by returned solars or in monsters that nobody can get into. And it is filled with this kind of murky, gray-green sludge. It's liquid. You can't really see through. And as it finishes unfolding, the 6 who came with it step on 6 of the 12 outer petals, the big petals, and lay down. They kind of slide into them. And the petals begin to spin. And as they spin, the 6 do not make a sound, but the spinning of the petals flays them to the bone as it goes. It's sectioning them. The only sound is a soft whirring noise and the sound of flesh being torn. And everybody's watching with a mixture of horror and curiosity as this thing renders them for biomass. It's got to have, Vali knows, it's got to have material to work with. Now, the Marcus is looking at it with pointed interest. And then from inside the liquid, there's a hand pressing against the glass. And for a moment, the liquid clears. And there's a shape. Pale, blue-black hair. It's covered in like scars and bruises and welts and shit. It's clearly someone who's been tortured. And it's only for a moment. And then it is opaque again. Ivory, you know that was Asuria. And Val bows to Marcus and says, I believe that this concludes our compact. And Marcus nods. Yes, I believe it does. Thank you. Cat girl nods. The butcher growls. And they leave. They clearly don't want to be here. So they walk back out across the ice, going around the Lotus machine. Go back up the stairs and fuck off into the night. Sisha, Arabella, as that was happening, you could feel a slow buildup of essence. But not from the device. Something else is happening. But you don't know what.
Do I have a direction? A sense of direction?
All around you. It's the eye of a hurricane.
So basically everywhere outside of the party area.
Correct.
If I can extract myself, I'll look for a window.
Yeah, the princess will let you go. She's a little curious herself, but there are no windows.
I need some fresh air.
The princess nods to you. Don't let me keep you. A pleasure.
All mine.
Not yet. So you're headed for the stairs, Sitcha? You are still attached to Volley.
Yeah, I'd probably just be like, do you feel that?
Volley, you did not feel that.
Valley just shakes her head and
Weird, it's like we're... Do you want to go outside for a minute?
Valley's gonna stare at the machine for a moment. She figures it's gonna be there for a while, so might as well.
I mean, you can go, you know, to investigate that thing if you want. I think I'm gonna step outside for a minute.
Valley will follow.
Don't leave me alone with these people.
Yeah.
They just flayed 6
Pretty
people
much.
for a party gift. Also, in case
Yeah,
it
she
wasn't
figures
completely
the machine
clear,
won't be there.
they just juiced 6 people for a party gift.
Yeah.
All right, so now I have 3 headed outside. Ivory, what are you doing? Other than contemplating suicidal thoughts or actions here.
Because the major problem I'm having right now is we both know what her defining intimacy is.
Mhm.
And that right there.
For the purposes of transparency for the chat who does not know and the rest of the party who might not know, unless you're trying to keep it a secret, instead of saying we both know, you might want to just say what it is.
Oh, my mistake. It's not defining, but it is really, really close to it. Asuria, as the storyteller mentioned, is the head of the household who has been missing. And it's been her vow for the whole time that's happened to get her back. To get everyone back. So she's going to go and sit at the edge of the oasis.
All right. Tana? The butcher has gone.
Butcher is gone. And probably due to the fact that she had to just GTFO temporarily, she probably didn't see those people get juiced.
It would have been hard to miss.
Oh, it would?
Yeah.
I'm muted. So apparently, if it's hard to miss, she'll take a look around, politely excuse herself for a moment. She's gonna follow CJ outside because she's probably seeing her walk out, and she needs at least some sort of familiarity at the moment. With very, very scared cat Flufftail.
Oh God, is Seacher the party leader? The librarian? The Lisa? Oh no.
Am I literally the only one who stayed? Oh fuck.
Yep. There's none of your friends are here to save you if somebody tries to kill you in the next 5 minutes. So let's go outside where everybody but Ivory is. Okay. Outside the courtyard is empty. Distressingly so, in fact. Night has fallen. And it is unseasonably cold out here. Those of you who are sorcerously inclined can feel the buildup of essence much more closely out here. Whatever this working is, it is centered on Satellite House, but encompasses at least the entire city.
So it's big in geography, at the very least. Is it also big in scope?
You couldn't do this if they gave you a decade.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's not great.
Tana wouldn't know what's going on, would she?
Actually,
She would.
sort of. She's felt something like this before. She knows what necromancy feels like. She can't read its geography. She can't read its scope like Arabella can. But this is a combination of necromancy and sorcery, and so she knows at least part of it. She knows that cold, greasy feeling.
Oh, sort of like how the Painted Ladies had.
Yes, it feels exactly like that, only like a million times bigger.
Yeah, all the fur is up and standing now.
Congratulations. You have a fluffy teddy stripper.
Well, someone's having a real party and I wasn't invited.
Can I, like, mystically poke at it to see if I can figure out what it is?
Mystically poke at it. Sure. Yeah, this is a... Yeah, you know what? Why the hell not? This is a terrible idea. So you're going to be making an occult roll for obvious reasons. So this is intelligence plus occult. Your specialty does not apply because this is not the Raksha, nor is this the Wild. This is so it should be flat 10 unless you want to use your occult excellency.
I think the flat 10 will probably be fine.
All right, roll 10.
Five successes.
Solid copy. This is not a spell. And it does not have a discrete beginning, middle, and end. This is not a shape sorcery or shape necromancy action. This is a working, something meant to be permanent. Or at least last a really long time. Workings are used for grand endeavors. Something this size, I mean, you know that the anathema and the Raksha can do it faster and better than you. But something of the size that is being contemplated here would take you more than a decade. So this has clearly been getting set up for some time and is culminating tonight. But even assuming like 6 months is set up, this is at least 4 or 5 sorcerers of a level you can scarcely describe, all working in sync to get this done. Or they're feeding just a colossal amount of power into it from some other source, ritual sacrifice, but like thousands of people. Arabella, you're getting the same from the necromancy side.
Can I get a feel for what it's doing?
No. Volley. Roll. Hold on a sec. Let me look at your sheet real quick. Roll wits awareness. Should be 8 dice for you. Wow. Okay. 6 successes. Jesus. There's a feeling on the air, Volley. It's difficult to describe. It's this kind of crawling, needling sensation in your mind, a taste of cold metal, and this tooth-hurting noise that's almost above your range of hearing. This whine. And you've run into this once before, actually. You recognize this as being similar to the effects of standing in the ruins of Denonsor, which is notable because the ruins of Denonsor have some first stage artifice underneath it that drives people to fear and madness if they stay in the city for too long. Now, this isn't that. The feeling's not the same, but it is like enough for you to draw the parallels. This is something that is going to do something probably unpleasant to the city, and it is being sustained by an artifact of some kind. Probably under the Mons, because you're in the center. And that's what everybody knows.
Well, I was going to turn to this teacher and explain that she does feel something now. She can't quite explain it. She just knows that it's not pleasant. And she's worried things that are going to happen.
Yeah, CJ would definitely also relay the information that she got from her prodding. Yeah, this isn't good. I don't know what it is, but it's not good.
Arabella will confirm from the necromantic side of things. I dare say that is above our pay grade.
This doesn't feel good at all.
Erg. Everyone who's outside, roll with awareness. While you guys are doing that, back inside by the oasis. Ivory, are you just like sitting in the sand staring at it like a psycho? Are you are you making an attempt to blend in? Like, did you at least pick an unobtrusive spot, or are you just chilling?
Oh, God. I think I imagine she started staring like a fucking crazy person and then had a moment's realization she was staring like a crazy person and continued staring from like under a palm tree or something nearby, so she at least doesn't look so obvious. She's trying to see if she can get to it, if she could do anything.
I mean, you could probably just walk out there. The ice hasn't melted. But it is clearly made of soul steel and something else magical. Even if you could attack it, there's no telling what would happen to it. It is artifice that is beyond your reckoning.
I really wish Star hadn't fucked off and Lisetta wasn't brain fucked, but neither of them would be here anyway.
Also true. After a few moments staring, you are joined by a man.
Okay.
He's early 20s. He's got the kind of lean, sinewy muscle of a swimmer. Green pants, copper-colored boots, copper like a fold, the outside plating on his pants. Red hair that's in like flyaway locks. And he's got a sword. His is not naked, but it's not wrapped in silk. It is in a copper-colored sheath.
So similar to mine. Mine is sheathed at my waist. He's holding his.
Yeah, and his is a straight blade.
Okay.
And he just kind of sits down next to you, looks at you, looks at it, looks at you, looks at it, looks at you, goes, there's nothing you can do, right?
Yeah. I know. She's in there.
She is. She absolutely is. He does appear to know who you're talking about.
That makes her blink. Makes her look at him. I don't recognize this dude, right?
Not really. Something familiar about him. But it's more of a feeling, like a physical feeling, a sensation.
Mm.
Some kind of slow, creeping dread, coupled with warmth, but like the painful kind that makes your skin prickle.
Ah.
And like the tightening of your skin, like you're standing out in the sunshine. Whatever it is, it's kind of cooking the air.
How do you know who I'm talking about?
I pay attention. I hear things. I mean, yes, your disguise might fool a mortal, but I'm not a mortal. You can't hide your essence. But that's neither here nor there, is it? How I know doesn't really matter. It's whether I can help you. You'd like to get her out, wouldn't you?
Almost more than anything in the world.
I could give you a key for that machine. You could open it right up, take her out. What's it worth to you?
Getting her out is only the start. I have to get her out of here, too.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I could do that too.
What sort of price are you looking for?
Oh, I don't know. Make me an offer. I have no need for money. Service, time, people. An engraved invitation to your home.
Don't let anyone into our home, because the last times people showed up, there was a lot of death involved.
And how is not letting people in helping you right now?
Your price can involve me and only me. I will not betray anyone else.
Oh, I'm not going to hurt anyone at your home. Honestly, the invitation is more important than anything else.
Who's it for?
Why? Me, of course. What's the matter, Ivory? Don't you recognize me? And his eyes flash the green of Ligier's light. I'm not really here, so you can quit panicking. I can't come outside of calibration or without an engraved invitation. I want to be there for what is about to happen. And for some reason, they seem to think my presence would be disruptive to the main event. I want to crash that nice young lady's party. Maybe it's the cavalier way she traded you away. Maybe it's this tacky party. Maybe I just don't like her. But I could get your friend out. Come now, think of the irony. She sold you to me last time. You can think on it. We're not doing it tonight. Enough of me has to be there to get her out. And perhaps your friends can help you. You do have friends. Don't you, Ivory? Ah, right. I'm sorry. I have your friends, don't I? Lizzie took them. Well, the Abyssals took them, gave them to Lizzie, who gave them to me, or to the Cerulean Marcus, or to any number of other powers that be in hell in exchange for everything she's gotten since the last time you saw her. You don't have anyone, do you? So maybe don't let this offer linger too long. And he stands up and leaves. He is confident enough in your ingenuity that you will find a way to reach him when your resolve breaks. And when he passes like through a group of people, he does not come out the other side. He's just gone. Like to the point where you're not sure he was ever there. There's no footprints. There's no sign. There's nothing to indicate he was ever there. Meanwhile, outside, how did we all do on what's awareness? Wow. Sicha sees nothing. Less than nothing, in fact. Big fat 0. With 2 1s, you got a critical failure. You got a critical botch.
Wait, that's a thing?
Yeah, it is.
Oh no.
You have to roll no successes and then get 1s. No, I'm sorry, it's a regular botch. You have to roll more than half 1s to get a critical botch. Wow. Okay, you guys are just cleaning up out here. Perfect. Sicha, you are so taken with the construction of the working, its elegance, how they're getting such an effect with so little, relatively speaking, power that you're ignoring everything else. It's just like in the books, and you're taking notes and shit because this is fascinating. Arabella, something's wrong. Something's like wrong. The constellations are wrong. There's something very, very wrong. Tana, the stars in the sky have been replaced with the stars in the underworld.
Oh no.
Vali, the stars in the sky have been replaced with the stars in the underworld, and this effect blankets the entire city, and the timbre of that wine has changed. This working is bringing night to Great Forks, and whatever you're hearing is going to make it permanent. The sun will not rise on Great Forks, which will allow ghosts and monsters and spirits to manifest pretty much at will here and be able to interact with the world of the living.
Tana's gonna look at everybody. The stars. I know those stars.
You seem vaguely familiar.
I mean, they're very pretty. What's wrong with the stars? You all seem very worried. What happened? I kind of spaced out. I got some really good notes though.
Arabella rolls her eyes at you.
Tana just stares, and it's like, notes in a time where we have underworld stars in the sky?
Wait,
It
I'm
means
sorry,
we're
what?
fucked.
Oh. Oh, that's why they look familiar.
Yes, those are underworld stars.
Thank you,
On
Valerie.
the,
Sorry, go ahead.
I suppose I can see why they needed so much power now.
all I know is this isn't good. I don't want to be here. Those stars are scary.
Arabella looks vaguely confused.
Do you, oh no, wait, hold on.
Yeah. Valley's gonna run inside and take a better look at the machine. Like, she's just gonna freaking bolt as fast as she can.
Okay. Roll intelligence plus lore. Do you want to use an excellency?
Absolutely.
Okay. So intelligence plus actually roll intelligence plus craft. This is actually more craft. So and your specialty very much applies. So it's 9 dice plus are you maxing out the excellency?
Yes, this is very important.
So you're rolling 15 dice all told. And then add 2 dice for the stunt because you were actually describing running in, bolting for it. So 17 dice.
Can we just roll the extra 2?
Okay, 7 successes. So this is a Genesis laboratory, which can be used to create new life in the tank. But this one has been altered. It can still be used for its original purpose. It can be used to create. It can also be used as a sort of battery. If you put someone, an essence user, in the central chamber, it will deplete their essence and willpower in order to fuel a working. That flaying is a sort of ritual sacrifice. This is the catalyst for the working that's going on outside. This was the battery, and it has gone to critical mass. You know that even if you hauled off, pulled out your dread weapon and smashed the thing to ruin, it would not stop what's happening now. Because it's just the battery. The actual machine that is holding the working in place, or will hold the working in place, is somewhere else in the grounds. And the hostess, as she sees you running in from outside and going to examine the machine, smirks at you. Kind of lifts a finger.
Valley's just gonna look up at her like, what have you done?
Why, young lady, I've done nothing. I've been here the whole time. This isn't my house. That was brought by someone else. I have been sitting in this chair the entire time. I have done nothing. Now, be a good girl. Go enjoy the party. It's too late now, anyway. And she turns away from you. Behind you, there comes a voice of, what's going on? It is Minosk Peridot, whom you did not recognize before. You could see that she looked like you, but didn't recognize her. Up close now, though, there's something different. You do recognize her, but you don't. Because despite the fact that she has brown hair, and eyes like yours, and a much taller figure, you are somehow certain that this is Olim the tailor. I love that the avatar just had the slow blink. Perfectly timed.
Owen? Is that you?
Technically, you should be asking Olim Minosk, is that you? But for the purpose of this conversation, yes. You look lovely, by the way. You can ask questions later. What's happening?
Valley's gonna stutter a little bit. This is a whole lot to take in. This thing is a battery. Essentially, it's powering a thing that's keeping us in basically hell.
I'll correct your semantics later. I get what you're getting at. I fear we might need to leave suddenly. And the way that woman is looking at you, she jerks her head towards the hostess, I don't think she's going to let you. Do you want to go?
Yes, but I want to grab the rest of the people I came with.
Get them fast. Maybe in the courtyard. No. Get them fast and bring them here. I will make ready. I can get everyone out. Once. Go get your friends. Right now, I don't think you have much time.
I can do. And she's just gonna freaking bolt again. Just zooms. And she goes up to Zicha, Arabella, Ivory, and eventually Tana. Tana's a little bit harder to find, I'm guessing, because cat girl. Probably swarmed by people wanting her attention.
She was very effective. So if she's gone back to the party, then yes, she's drawn a crowd.
Oh no.
But she's gonna basically say, hey, no time to explain. And she's gonna pick everybody up and just carry them to where they need to be.
As you run by carrying one of them, you pass by Saris, who, when seeing you running, carrying a person, just like jumps out of the way.
For reference, Arabella has found a like wall or some other vantage point to sit on and is watching the sky turn in what can only be described as a weird sort of anticipation.
So you're still outside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Misty shapes have begun to appear in the courtyard.
Are they paying any attention to me?
No. You're a necromancer. These are ghosts. But with the plunge into night under the underworld stars, they're starting to be able to manifest here.
I smile at them.
And it's not like they're appearing in formation or anything. You can see out past the gate. You can see some. This is probably happening all over the city. Because the city's been here for 1,000 years and tons of people have died here.
I smile at them, gently, almost lovingly.
They give you a wide berth. None of them are bothering you. And then you are just unceremoniously plucked off your wall. By Folly.
What the hell are you doing?
No time to explain, I'll tell you in a second.
Ivory will probably also like shriek and struggle while she's totally fucking crying, and you have no idea why. But yeah, no time to explain. Throw a crying Ivory over your shoulder. It's great.
I can walk under my own power.
This is fantastic.
CJ just sort of squeaks as she's picked up, but is like, oh, hey.
Leans into.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, this is cool. I have no idea what's happening, but sure, all right.
Fast.
And then as, because she was also outside, so as Volley passes Sirius, she'll form a very brief-lived something long, like a rope or a whip or something like that out of Gossamer, and just whip it out to catch her ankle and yank. Just as they're passing by, and then it just, fizzles out because it's
Yeah, because it's not really an attack. It's not really doing damage or anything. I'm not going to make you roll for it. Just thud. Fantastic. Okay. Ah! How does Tana react to getting grabbed?
Would Mewling shriek because somebody's touching her? And yeah, she's trying to get away now. She's like, let me down, let me down, let me down, let me down. Get off. No touchy.
Thankfully, it's only a few seconds. But yes, eventually Avengers are assembled. Volley, you have collected everybody in a kind of pile, which Tana immediately jumped off of because cat. Sicha, Olim the Tailor is there, looking very much like Minosk Peridot. And you have the same problem as Volley. You absolutely recognize her, but she looks nothing. Doesn't look the same. You can't say how you recognize her. You just do. Above the table, her arcane fate isn't working here. Minosk Olim looks at everybody and says, all right. Now this is going to sound insane, but on the count of 3, I need everybody to jump into the pool.
I mean, sounds perfectly reasonable to me.
Arabella will check to see if either her cousin and or Princess Magnificent are nearby, or if she can catch their eye.
Yes, you can catch the eye of your cousin.
A very sardonic salute then, before I leave.
His hand goes to his sword, but no draw. Mitsu, I believe you were about to say something.
No.
Never mind that. Yes. Does anybody have anything they want to do before Olin tries to get you out of here?
CJ will try and catch the eye of Ruther.
You get his attention. He looks completely flabbergasted.
She very cheerfully gives him a very rude gesture and then jumps into the pool.
Yeah, he looks like he's seen a particularly ill-mannered ghost.
Also, real quick, the fact that I couldn't catch Princess Magnificent's eye, does that mean she is no longer here? Or that I did not spot her at all?
You did not spot her at all.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Or anything else, rather?
Just a weird aside. I haven't met Olim, but I've met Olim, right? Would that...
Oh, the old Olim?
Mm-hmm.
You do not recognize Olim.
Okay. Can I tell anything's up, or does it just look like the Minosk to me?
Just looks like the Minosk to you. You don't have the frame of reference.
Okay, cool. That's all I wanted to know. Someone might have to grab Ivory and drag her. She is not thinking straight.
All right. Does everybody jump and or grab Ivory and jump? Because Olin counts really quickly. Just 1, 2, 3, go.
Anna's jumping in.
With a regretful sigh, Arabella jumps in.
No, I will grab Ivory and jump in.
All right. So everybody jumps. When you hit the water, there's a flash of yellow light, like a ribbon that just sort of goes down into the depths and then augers off in some direction. And you can still see it in your mind, even long past where it should be visible. And you find yourself following it, being pulled along. And it seems to take forever, but in reality might be a second and a half. And when the ribbon terminates, you find yourself jumping really, into the back room of Olim's tailor shop. You are perfectly dry, and you all promptly fall over.
Oh, good. We're still in the city. I'll get to see the show.
What show? Ivory has no idea what the fuck's going on.
Arabella looks at you like,
Someone has to catch her up.
have you had your head under a rock or something?
I didn't go outside. What's going on?
So yes, under a rock. Big rock. Elegantly crafted rock, but a rock.
Bad stuff. Lots of bad stuff.
A matter of perspective.
Elaborate, please.
They're putting out the sun.
I'm sorry?
They're putting out the sun. Someone has essayed a sorceress and necromantic working in order to blot out the sun around Great Forks. Manos Peridot delivers this very, very matter-of-factly. It seems that while Olim had social skills, Peridot kind of doesn't. You are out for the moment. But the hostess will remember that you were there. And she will, if she was setting a trap, she will come for you.
Is there a particular reason she would want to set a trap for any of us?
No, it'd be for everybody at the party. Witnesses, that sort of thing.
I mean, she specifically hates me for some reason. But that's beside the point.
I suggest you all get undercover somewhere. At least for the rest of what should be the night. You may stay here if you like. My apartments are above the shop. I, unfortunately, need to see this to its conclusion. And she turns towards the full-length mirror that she used to show Sicha and Vali their dresses and steps through it and is gone. Back to the party. So you can see the flash of the ballroom and the reflection for a moment before it's just a mirror again.
Who was that?
I think it was our tailor?
Or Taylor?
I'm sorry? That didn't look like the tailor.
No, she really didn't, but for some reason she just is the tailor.
We are in the tailor shop. I've been here before. Oh, God. Do we want to stay here?
Do you want to stay together and make yourselves a target?
Do we have a choice? That's the question.
Oh no, my mausoleum should have an excellent vantage point on the roof to watch this.
What are we watching?
Hell, I think. Yes.
Oh, I've seen enough of that.
No, it's the underworld. Hell's different.
Right. Excuse me.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that much of that, I don't think.
Yes, but it's very nostalgic for me.
Not so nostalgic for me.
I mean, if there's a place kind of away from windows to see it and such for Tana, that might be good, because I am also very curious about this.
So the sorcerers are going to go watch the world burn as an academic exercise. Tana is going to do anything that is not that. Ivory can finish her meltdown. What's Volley doing?
Volley's probably freaking the fuck out.
Join me in a meltdown. We can have a group. Ah!
Or Zicha will drag her off. Come get fresh air. It'll make you feel better. She could also go up to Olim's apartments and look around.
Considering the circumstances and her possibly being, well, not really found out, but there's that possibility in her mind. So she's gonna take the chance and go upstairs, check out
All right. Well, I believe that is where we're going to end the session. We will call it here. It is 5 XP and 5 Dragon XP, which should bring you to a total of 10 and 10. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Thank you, chat. Thank you, players. It was a blast. And the ramifications of this will start to become clear next session or during the downtime. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good one.
And if you
Good
want to
night.
read the downtime, real quick,
Yes.
you can
Discord.
find that on our Discord. But yes, good night, everyone.